What up, YouTube? It's Ace, and today we're going to be going over the top 10 most asked questions for phone flipping. I'm going to be answering them. Not going to waste any time. Let's get straight into it. So the first one, how do I start phone flipping? All you really need to do is buy and sell a phone. There's no need to have any analysis paralysis. A lot of people experience that because, especially when you're getting into different business models, I see that people don't want to lose money, which I completely understand, but you're a lot better off. Phone flipping, you're going to learn via mistakes. Like, that's just the reality of it. You're going to make a bad buy. You're going to lose some money. You're going to miss something on a phone. Like, it's just going to happen, but you can't be scared of it. Buy and sell your first phone, because all you're doing with phone flipping is buying phones for low and selling them for high. So get on Facebook Marketplace or Marketplace apps, whatever, because if you're just beginning, you're probably not going to be running paid advertising. Get on there, make some offers, buy a phone, sell a phone, and that's how you'll get started in this game. Next question, where do I buy phones to flip? So there's a multitude of ways you can get phones. So as far as like what's taught on YouTube, I know you guys see just marketplace apps. Get on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Mercari, whatever the case may be. You can source some phones on there if you're just starting out. However, the more advanced you get, you're going to be getting into paid advertising, and that's where you're going to get the bulk of your phones. And through your paid advertising, you're going to meet people that supply you with phones often. That's how I get a lot of my phones. I run paid marketing across meta platforms. Facebook ads really carry my business at the moment. Ads that run across Instagram and Facebook, those are really carrying my business. I get a lot of phones from there where people are reaching out directly to me, asking for a cash offer on their device. Now, I personally prefer that, because if I'm just asking, if I'm just offering people on Facebook Marketplace, I'm competing with other flippers, and I'm also competing with people who want to buy the phone and use it for themselves. So obviously, like, you're going to get some, you're not going to get a lot. Some deals are going to get posted and you're going to miss them. And overall, I just don't think it's an efficient way to run a business. So you can get phones via Marketplace, which is really for beginners. And when you get more advanced, you're going to be running into paid advertising, and then a mix of paid advertising and brand building, which I talked about in my last video. You're going to get people that supply you with phones often. So that's really the bulk of how you're going to get your phones. Marketplace, paid ads, suppliers. So next question. How do I check if a phone is clean or blacklisted? It's pretty easy. All you're going to be doing is using IMEI checkers. Personally, I recommend that you guys use sickw.com. It's a paid service. If you're just now starting out, if you put 10 bucks in your account, it'll probably last you for a minute, but it's a bunch of paid services. They're like 10 cents, like 10 to 50 cents each, and they allow you to run the IMEI and check for all the information that you need. So to check if an iPhone is, if it's clean or if it's blacklisted, you're going to head over to sickw, paste the IMEI of the device that you're trying to check, and you're going to use the service called iPhone FMI plus blacklist. That's going to let you know the carrier lock status, the SIM lock status, all the history of the phone, everything that you need to see, and it's literally color coded, and it's not really hard to maneuver. So if you want to see if a phone's blacklisted, paste the IMEI in there, use the command iPhone FMI and blacklist, and if you look at the bottom, there'll be a tab that says blacklist. If it's a bright green and it says clean, you're good. If it's bright red and it says blacklisted, it'll tell you the reason, and you're obviously not good. So IMEI checkers, sickw isn't the only one that you can use. There are a bunch of other free ones you can experiment with. Personally, sickw is my favorite, best results. All the wholesalers and resellers use it, so I would advise sickw to check IMEI. Next question. How much profit can I make flipping phones? That all depends on how much money you have to invest into the business. Personally, when I was working with like $1,000, I was probably consistently making $2 to $3K a month. I didn't have my first $10K month until I had $7,000 worth of capital to invest into the business. This is all about how much money you can put in, because the more you can buy, the more money you can make. You guys get what I'm saying? But if you're starting out with $200, you're not going to make a lot of money. You can make some, but it's not going to be a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on how much money you have to put into the business. What you put in is quite literally what you'll get out. Now, as far as like the big scale of things of how much people make, I know personally I scaled to 5 figures last month. I'm on pace for another 5-figure month. There are people who make 6 figures in a month. There are millionaires in this industry. The used market industry is huge, and anything is possible. It's really just in direct correlation with your effort, how much time you put in. And if you put a lot of it into this business, then you're going to make a decent amount of money. I feel like on the low end, if you're running the direct buyer system where you're kind of running paid ads, and if you're buying and selling to direct buyers in your local area and just building a solid brand, you can very easily make 5-6K in profit. Like, that's very low end over the course of an entire month. So just some food for thought, but how much you can make really just depends on how much money you have to put up front. Next question. Can I flip iCloud locked or carrier locked phones? Yes, you can, depending on who you're selling it to. So as far as buying and selling on Marketplace, and I talked about this in my last video, like the bulk of the phones that you buy and sell and flip to regular customers on Marketplace are going to be unlocked phones that don't have a lot of issues with them. The fact of the matter is, when it comes to selling carrier lock, iCloud lock phones with a bunch of defects, you're better off selling them to direct buyers because they buy in bulk and they purchase whatever you have. Yeah, for instance, if this iPhone 14, and I used the exact same example in my last video, but if I had 50 of these, you could try to list them on Marketplace and get like, what, 20, 30 bucks each. But the fact of the matter is that nobody wants this phone. This phone doesn't have any use unless you're a wholesale buyer, know how to repair, use it for parts, whatever the case may be. But a regular customer has no use for this. You're not going to sell 50 of these on Marketplace. Wholesale buyers buy these. They buy carrier lock stock. They buy iCloud stock, iCloud lock stock. They buy whatever you have. So in terms of flipping those types of phones, carrier lock and iCloud lock, you can do it on Marketplace, but it's going to be very hard and not very time efficient and you're probably going to deal with a lot of returns as well. A lot of people who purchase carrier lock phones often they don't know what they're doing. They think they're just getting a good deal on a phone. I posted saying in the description that a phone is carrier locked at AT&T. The person tries to take it to Verizon. They say that it didn't work and they come back to me like it wasn't obviously for AT&T in the description. You guys get what I'm saying? You won't have that issue with wholesale buyers. So if you are going to flip a lot of carrier locked or iCloud locked stock, I would advise you get into wholesale buyers, private buyers that buy all the stock you have. So next question. How do I avoid getting scammed? Now, I mean, there are a bunch of ways that people can scam you, I guess you could say, with phone flipping. But what I would tell you is, no matter what, just don't trust the customer and meet in a public spot. That's really all there is to it. Because at the end of the day, people will try to lie about the condition of the phone, the defects of the phone to try to get top dollar. You need to be in an environment where you're comfortable checking everything thoroughly so that you don't get home and realize that you missed something. You feel me? So personally, I like to meet at Starbucks, meet inside the Starbucks, sit down, connect to the Starbucks Wi-Fi, check everything that I need to. Nobody's going to try to run off on you or do anything stupid in the Starbucks. There's cameras everywhere. And you're just in a safe environment to comfortably check everything you need to. And the people that you should be wanting to do business with will have no problem meeting you inside the Starbucks. The people who you don't want to do business with probably are going to be very iffy about meeting in public locations and in front of people and conducting good business transactions. So if you want to avoid getting scammed, because there are a bunch of different little nuances, the IMEI, the functionality, whatever, the checklist for things that you should be looking for as far as when you're checking the phone and you want to do it again in a safe public location, you should be checking the condition, make sure everything's as described. You want to check functionality, make sure everything works. You want to check the battery health of the item, make sure that it isn't due for a replacement or anything. And you want to check the IMEI. You want to make sure that it's not blacklisted. Well, that's another video for another time. But you want to make sure it's not blacklisted if the customer didn't tell you. You feel me? So these 4 things, check them in a public location, take your time, and don't feel threatened by the customer in any way, shape, or form. You're the one that's buying the phone and you're going to get what you asked for. You feel me? So make sure you're in a public location where you're comfortable. Check everything as needed. Next question. Where do I sell the phones I flip? Again, if you're just starting out, you're probably going to be selling on Facebook Marketplace because have direct buyers. Here's the thing about having direct buyers, because you can sell on Marketplace or you can sell to direct buyers. But selling to direct buyers, they purchase at about like 70 to 80% of market value. So you're slimming your margins down a little bit, but there's a quick cash return there because they pay you for whatever you have and however much you have, because they're flipping a lot of devices on a pretty large scale. But if you're only selling on, if you're only like $500 capital into the game, like you're more likely going to be selling on Facebook Marketplace, eBay. Personally, I never sold on Mercari when I was coming up, but Facebook Marketplace, eBay, my stock moved pretty well. And everything, if it's priced competitively at decent prices, it'll sell within 1 to 2 days. You get that capital back, reinvest, and just rinse and repeat the whole process until you can raise enough capital to where you're selling to direct buyers. Like me personally, I have a bunch of stock that I can't really like show you guys, but it's all around me. I have a bunch of phones, and for me to list every single one of these on Facebook Marketplace, eBay individually just doesn't make sense. It's super time, like labor intensive, and I would much rather just sell it to somebody who's going to pay me 80% of what I would get if I were to sell it on my own, have my cash back, and rinse and repeat that process and keep stacking this money. So you can sell on Facebook, Mercari, eBay, whatever the case may be, those little marketplace apps. If you're just starting out, when you get more advanced, you're going to kind of be in a mix of selling on Facebook or these marketplace apps when it makes sense, and selling to direct buyers when it makes sense, doing whatever's best for the business. Next question. What are the best phones to flip? Personally, I find that the newer models are the easiest to flip because the numbers that you can offer the customer are a lot more appealing. It's very hard for me to close on like iPhone, like let's say it's an iPhone 14 that's carrier lock. 14s are still fairly new, a lot of people would say, but carrier locked iPhone 14s, as far as what I buy them for, they sell wholesale for about 150 to 160, so I can only offer a customer 100. And if a customer financed a 14 a couple years ago and it was super high and now they can only get $100, that number isn't very appealing to them, and it's very hard to close that customer and get that deal. However, for a 16 Pro Max, I can pay $600 if it's new in the box, $520 if it's used. You get what I'm saying? I can offer a lot higher. People hear the $520 number and they're, oh, that's okay. Like, who doesn't want $500 cash with no hustle or a seamless $500 transaction? Like, that's a lot more appealing than a seamless $100 transaction. So with the newer models, the numbers are more appealing to the customer more often than not, and it's a lot easier to close those deals. So I would say Pro Max models like 12 Pro Max to 16 Pro Max and carrier unlocked phones will probably be where you're going to make the most money because you can offer better for them. They're worth more. You feel what I'm saying? So those are the type of phones that I would aim for. Pro Max models, because those are the most desirable models in the used iPhone industry, and unlocked phones. So that's what I would say about that. Next question. How do I negotiate with sellers? Now, a lot of people see negotiation as like, this is how I see negotiation. I think that it shouldn't be a war or a battle. It's just two parties trying to make each other happy. So if somebody reaches out to me, because I don't really negotiate with my buyers, like I don't negotiate with my direct buyers. I send them a list of what I have. They send me prices. If I like them, I agree. If I don't like them, I pass. You feel me? So there's not a lot of negotiation there with my buyers. But with people that sell me phones, like let's say somebody comes from my paid ad lead and they say that they have an iPhone. I ask them what model, they tell me. Any issues with it, they tell me. And then I ask them, how much do you want for this device? This really just lets me know the type of customer that I'm dealing with, right? It lets me know if I'm dealing with somebody who's price fishing, delusional, price fishing, delusional, or reasonable. The people that are price fishing, more likely than not, are going to just tell you to offer them. You're not the first person they ask. You're probably not going to be the last. So I really don't take these customers super seriously, because personally, I'm aware that my prices, like, they aren't going to be, like, there's probably going to be somebody paying higher than me more often than not. So all I can do is really shoot them a number. If they like it, great. If they don't like it, it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. It's not going to be the last person I talk to, because they're price fishing, trying to find the best dollar. You get what I'm saying? And as they should. They pay for that phone. They want to get the most that they can. So if they're just saying, make me an offer, that's probably not somebody that's very serious about selling you that phone. The people that are delusional, that's the person where you say, well, what do you want for this device? And they want $800 for their iPhone 11. Like, that's not really somebody that you can make happy, nor somebody that can make you happy. You feel me? They think it's worth, you're not on the same page there. You get what I'm saying? That's not really somebody you can negotiate with. It's not really a knock to your negotiation tactics. It's not really a knock to them, but y'all can't make each other happy. Y'all want two different things. Just pass. You feel me? And then there's the reasonable individuals, where they say a price that's probably like hovering around market value. It might be a little below, it might be a little above. Those are the people that you're most likely to close, because they really just want a seamless transaction. Like, let's say somebody offers me a 13 Pro Max, and I say, well, how much do you want for it? They say, well, I want like $350. Okay, I'm paying around $300, and I could really pay $320 if I want to. You feel me? So people like that, where it's just kind of like there's some wiggle room and you can get close to their price point, you're probably going to close a lot of those more often than not, because they're reasonable and they would much rather sell it to you instead of go through the hassle of selling their stuff on Marketplace, dealing with returns, dealing with customers who want to negotiate and all this stuff. You're going to pay them something close to what they want, and they're going to get cashed out today. And those people are usually the best and easiest to work with. You feel me? So negotiation, it's not really a matter of the tactics that get the price down. You just need to know the type of person you're dealing with. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I always do. The make me an offer people, like, I deal with them, but it's not like super duper seriously, because they're price fishing. You feel me? Like, and that's just not, I know personally in how I do business, somebody who's price fishing like all the time and just comes back to you to find the best dollar, that's not really somebody that I want to work with. It's not personal at all. It's just business. You feel what I'm saying? Somebody who's delusional, I can't really help, because obviously they want something that's far off from what I can pay. They can't help me. I can't help them. I pass. And then somebody who's reasonable is often like they want something, I can get close to it, as close as possible, and I can work with that person. You feel me? So just know who you're working with, and the negotiation will just kind of fall. It'll fall in line. You feel what I'm saying? Next question. Do I need an LLC, and how do I handle my taxes? Personally, I started an LLC for my business it was about 2 months ago. And that was because my bank actually told me they were going to close my account because I had too many transactions, like high in the $1,000 transactions going in and out of my account. So the default I thought was to make an LLC, so I could get an EIN and have a business bank account and a whole bunch of things for tax purposes. Now I feel like this whole deep dive goes into more of like a financial literacy talk with you guys when you talk about like taxes, write-offs, and all these different things. But as far as needing an LLC, like I know plenty of people who don't use an LLC and just get taxed. I think it's through their social security number or something. I forgot how they told me they did it, but not everybody has an LLC, and you don't really need an LLC. I just know me personally, as far as like, because I'm trying to be more financially literate and know how I can leverage taxes and do all these different things. An LLC made the most sense for me. Because now I have a business bank. I'm not commingling funds. I'm not commingling expenses or whatever the case may be. My business is my business and my personal is my personal. So it just keeps things separate. And LLC was the best decision for me. It might not be for you, but it definitely made things easier on my end. So that would just be my experience. And y'all probably just keep walking with me as I learn more about the financially literate side of this phone flipping business. But an LLC, I would say, is convenient, but it's not insanely mandatory. So those were the 10 questions. I literally just asked ChatGPT what are the 10 most asked questions on phone flipping. And honestly, these are questions that I get in my DMs and comments a lot. I just want to answer them in a long form content YouTube form thing here. So yeah, these are just the 10 questions. If you guys do have any more, just leave them in the comments and maybe I'll make an updated video and answer more questions from you guys in the comment section. But if you guys want me or my business partners one-on-one help scaling your phone flipping business at any point in time, you just click the first link in the description. It'll just kind of walk you through everything, see if you're a good fit to work with us. Because we're always happy to work, you feel me? It's a bunch of people that have scaled their phone flipping business working with that program. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, we're going to keep pumping out this content, hopefully every other day, if not every day. But yeah, man, y'all keep flipping and keep making that money. I'll see y'all in the next video.